The season is starting to wind down now. We are now into late August and we're about to take on the Washington Nationals. But before we do that, there's a couple things to go over. The Nationals, their playoff chances are starting to slip away from them. They are 4 games out of the wild card now, still very much in the race, but they're not holding firm like right behind, I believe it was the Braves in first place in the NL East like they were at the All-Star break. Reality is starting to set in here for this Nationals roster. But one thing that was very interesting while I was looking at these standings is that the Miami Marlins have actually won 13 games in a row. Still quite out of it in the playoff race, but I mean, they must have been even worse off before the streak. So 13 games in a row for the Marlins. And then as far as the Reds are sitting, we are 57-72 on the year. That is 4th place in the NL Central. Only the Pittsburgh Pirates are worse than us. So the Reds are going to hit the road here as they're going to head out to the nation's capital, Washington, D.C., to take on the Nationals at Nationals Park. And on the hill for them is the right-hander Patrick Murphy, making his first start of the 2022 campaign. And opposing him will be the rookie for the Reds in Nick Lodolo, making his 26th start. Take a look at the Reds lineup 1-2-9 on the day. And we'll start things off with the Nationals at the plate. Nick Lodolo on the hill. And it's Cesar Hernandez slicing one down the right field line. That's going to get into the corner. And that's an easy double for the fleet-footed Hernandez. Next batter up is Juan Soto, who goes gapping, and that's going to get up against the wall, and that's going to score Hernandez from second easily. It's an RBI double for Juan Soto, and it's now a 1-0 Nationals lead. After that, though, Lodolo would clutch up and proceed to work a ground out from Josh Bell to first base, as well as the center fielder on the day, Nelson Cruz, who grounds out to first base. So then Joey Votto comes up to the dish in the next half of the inning and the top of the second, and it's a line drive at the right field where Soto cannot make the diving play. Then Jose Barrero chops one over to shortstop. They're going to get the lead runner in Votto, but Barrero does beat it out on the back half. So runner on first, 2 outs, and then Albert Almora Jr. puts a charge into one to left field. It's Lane Thomas ranging back, and he's not going to be able to make a play on it. Albert Almora Jr., with a little bit of a power surge, puts the Reds on top 2-1, and then the inning would try to be kept on by Delino DeShields, but instead he aligns one into right field, and Juan Soto does make the diving play on him. Now in the bottom half of the frame, it is Lodolo working a ground ball from Keibert Ruiz here for a 6-4-3 double play to end the inning. And then in the bottom of the third, it is Nolan Jones going around the horn, 5-4-3, as it's Cesar Hernandez grounding into a double play. Now into the top of the fourth, Joey Votto at the dish is going to draw himself a walk, so he's on first base. After that, it's Aquino going down to the right field wall. Off the bottom of the wall, Votto goes first to third. Aquino settles in on second base, so it's second and third with 1 out as Albert Almora comes up, and he's going to power one to left center field. Look at Nelson Cruz, the noted center fielder, range back, but it does not matter. A 3-run blast, the second of the day for Albert Almora. What a day for him, as the Reds are now leading this one 5-1. Paolo Espino came on for the Nationals in the 5th, and he would stay on in the 6th, where Jose Barrero is going to bloop one in front of Soto for a single with 1 out. And then the next batter up would be Albert Almora, as Barrero goes and swipes second base, but then Almora tries to go bridge for the 3rd time in this game, but instead it's just going to die out as Lane Thomas makes the play, and then snap of the fingers, it's nighttime. No idea what happened there. It wasn't like I shaved and then came back. It just, I don't even know how to explain it. It was literally one at-bat was daytime, one at-bat was nighttime. I didn't even notice it when I was playing it. But anyways, Delino DeShields RBI double makes it a 6-1 lead for the Reds. Now onto the bottom of the 7th, where the Nationals get back on the board with a solo shot from Josh Bell over the Reds bullpen, and it's now a 6-2 ball game. Nick Lodolo still on the hill in the bottom of the 8th, and he's going to give up another solo shot, this time to Maikel Franco, the former Phillies top prospect, and that would end Nick Lodolo's day. He comes out in the 8th inning as the Reds bring on Evan Phillips, claimed off the waiver wire from the Dodgers earlier in the season, and with 2 outs, he would just work a quick ground ball to third base. Nolan Jones scoops and fires, and he ends the 8th. Then on to the 9th, where Lucas Sims, the psycho closer, comes on into the game, and with 2 outs and 1 on, he would get a ground ball from Nelson Cruz to Jonathan India, who makes the easy play, and the Reds win this one in DC 6-3 over the Nationals, picking up a win over a team above 500. And obviously, Albert Almora Jr. is the player of the game. He had 2 home runs on the day, drove in 5 runs by himself. Nick Lodolo also just an incredible line on the day. 7 2/3 innings pitched, 2 strikeouts, no walks, and only 3 earned runs. All of them, or 2 of them being solo shots, and then 1 of them was the double from Juan Soto in the first inning. But for the most part, it was just a lot of soft contact being worked, a lot of ground balls, what we want to see from Nick Lodolo heading forward here, and what he has been showing for the most part in this season. So with that win over the Nationals, we are now into the September portion of the season. Technically not the last month on the calendar for the MLB season, because we do have like 1 or 2 games that we're playing in October, but it's basically the last month. And the minor league season is actually still going on, and we have the extended rosters now. They go from 26 to 28, so we're not going to be calling up anybody that we want to still be playing down in AAA every day. So Senzel is still going to end his season in AAA so he can keep playing every day, keep developing. But we are going to call up a couple guys, the first one being a position player in Taylor Motter. He is back up in the big leagues just to have some positional versatility on the roster here for the final month of the season. And then we're also calling up a pitcher in Robert Duggar. He is back after his 1 start he had against Colorado early in the season. He had 21 games started in AAA this year, 115 in the 3rd innings, and a 2.58 ERA. So definitely a very solid year for Robert Duggar. And now the Reds travel out to St. Louis to take on the Cardinals, and for whatever reason, there was just no intro. There was no like, hey, here's who's matching up against each other, so let's just take a look at the lineups 1 to 9 and hop right into the game. Bottom half of the 2nd inning, Justin Dunn on the hill, working a ground out to Barrero at second from Dickerson, and he makes the jump throw, playing second base on the day, showing off that strong arm. But then later in the inning, Justin Dunn gives up a solo shot to one of the hottest hitters in baseball in Paul Goldschmidt. Makes it a 1-0 lead for the Cardinals. And now on to the top of the 3rd, Jose Barrero at the dish, or this is Almora at the dish. He's drawing a walk that brings up Barrero, tries to lay down a bunt, somehow gets foul, and then with a 0-2 count at the dish, he would proceed to just take this next pitch from Steven Matz and ground it over to 3rd base, where Arenado turns it into a 5-4-3 double play. Nothing going for the Reds in the inning. Now onto the bottom half of the frame, where it's after on the 12th pitch of the AB to Dylan Carlson, he grounds at the 1st base. And then Tommy Edman's going to ground out to 2nd base as Barrero makes the play to end the inning. We move things on now to the top half of the 5th, checking in with the Reds bats as Aquino gets a hanging curveball in the middle of the zone and does that with it. So that's just the state of the Cincinnati bats right now. Now on the bottom half of the frame, it's Sean Murphy, their newly acquired catcher at the trade deadline, who grounds that to the shortstop Walls. And now onto the top of the 6th, Jose Barrero with a shot into center field for a base knock. So he's on first, and then proceeds to get his fleet feet into 2nd base, into scoring position with the stolen base. So he's on 2nd with 1 out. Taylor Walls, 3-1 count, smacks one out to right field. Barrero's going to be super aggressive here with the tag, but the throw from Carlson was offline, so he does tag up to 3rd. And then it's Delano DeShields working himself a walk. So runners on the corners here with 2 outs. Brings up Jonathan India, who doesn't even get to do anything, as DeShields is going to swipe 2nd. They toss over to 1st, and they just get him in a rundown, or not even a rundown. He just tries to go to 2nd. They don't. He does not. So that's how the inning ends. But then when India comes up on the top of the 7th, hits a shot to right center, and Harrison Bader, showing off why it's so important to have great defense in center field. We need one of him in center field. Look at this guy. Absolutely insane. 99.3% route efficiency, covers 85 feet, and robs India of extra bases. But then, later in the inning, A ball would get down in front of O'Neill past his diving glove, and then Jones is going to try for 3 here, but Harrison Bader on the relay does not allow that to happen. I am sick and tired of this Harrison Bader guy just eliminating runs for us. So a little bit aggressive there on the base paths, but still, Jones does get thrown out. Then the top of the 8th, it's Tyler Stevenson hitting a line drive right at Tyler O'Neill, and then it would be Nolan Jones just grounding out as, or Almora grounding out as Arenado makes the diving play at third base, showing off some more great defense on this Cardinals team. Then Barrero on at the top of the 9th draws a walk, and that would end Steven Matt's day as he finally comes out of the game. And Giovanni Gallegos enters, the closer looking to shut the door here. So with 1 on, nobody out, Barrero tries to steal second, and Sean Murphy says no sir. Guns him at second, so now it's 1 down, nobody on base, and then Taylor Walls goes down. They freezed him on the low slider, so it's now 2 down. Max Schrock comes on to pinch hit for Cincinnati, and he would proceed to go down swinging on a high fastball he just could not lay off of. And the St. Louis Cardinals hang on to win this game 1-0 over the Cincinnati Reds. The only run of the game was the Paul Goldschmidt home run in the 2nd inning. Steven Matz gets player of the game honors, pitched 8 innings strong, gave up 2 hits, 6 strikeouts, no runs. Justin Dunn also had a solid day on the hill as well, 6 1/3 pitched, only gave up 3 hits, struck out 3, didn't walk anybody, which is an accomplishment for him, and only gave up that 1 run on the solo shot to Goldschmidt, but the offense just could not pick him up as Steven Matz was dynamic. And the Reds are going to hit the road one more time here late September, taking on the Pirates at PNC Park here in Pittsburgh. Take a look at the Reds lineup on the day, 1-2-9. And we'll start things off here with Hunter Green on the hill for Cincinnati, giving up a single to Marcano here with 1 out to get on first base. And the next batter up would be Brian Reynolds, who is a pain in my side on the plate, the opposite of Harrison Bader. Comes up and hits a double down the left field line, so 2nd and 3rd here with 1 out, but then 2 outs as Vogelbach goes down swinging. Then it would be O'Neill Cruz, the 6'7" shortstop, who draws a walk, and then after that, it would bring up the older brother of a man a lot of Reds fans are probably familiar with, Jackson Smith-Njigba's older brother, Kanan Smith-Njigba, flies out to center field, and Hunter Green works out of the jam. So now we are on to the top of the 2nd. Mitch Keller on the hill for the Pirates, and it is Joey Votto singling into right field. So a base knock to lead off the inning. After that, it's Aquino who's going to bloop one past Cabrian Hayes at third base, and then Votto moves up to 2nd. So back-to-back singles here for Cincinnati. Then it's Tyler Stevenson trying to lay down a bunt, and it just somehow bunts up, lands in, nobody moves up. Stevenson gets the first, Votto gets the third, Aquino gets thrown in at 2nd. So now it's runners on the corners here with 1 out, and Jose Barrero jumps on the first pitch. Who knew he had pop like that? Absolutely pisses on a ball to left field, and it's now a 3-0 lead here for the Reds in this ball game. Now on to the top of the 3rd inning, where it's Nolan Jones at the dish, and he's drawing himself a walk here with 1 out. That would then bring up Joey Votto, and he's going to have himself another single on the day. That's going to get down into the corner and allows Jones to go 1st to 3rd, so runners on the corners, 1 out once again. Aquino trying to go bridge, but instead it's just going to die out right in front of the wall. Smith-Njigba puts it away. That will allow Jones to tag up and score and make it a 4-0 lead for the Reds. Now on to the bottom half of the 3rd. And it is Brian Reynolds hitting one off the wall in right field, and that's going to be another double, his 2nd of the day, and it puts him into scoring position, but then Vogelbach would not be able to drive him in as he goes down swinging. After him, we now move things on to the bottom of the 4th, where Hunter Green's going to strand a bunch of runners on as he strikes out Cabrian Hayes. Keeps it at 4-0. Now into the bottom of the 5th, it's going to be Marcano going down on the back foot slider. Brings up Brian Reynolds, who hits a line drive here to deep right field. Aquino ranging back, makes the catch, and does his best Aaron Rowand impression impression as he runs face first into the wall. And now with 2 outs, it would be Vogelbach going down on the curveball or the slider in the dirt, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Hunter Greene. We would take that score into the 8th inning where Ross Detweiler, the veteran lefty, came on, and the first batter he faces is Marcano, who draws a walk. So a leadoff walk there for the Buccos, puts him on first base. Then it's Brian Reynolds blooping one into center field. Marcano goes first to third, and on the weak throw from DeShields, Reynolds moves up to second base, and they actually credit that as his 3rd double of the game. So runners on second and third here, nobody out, but then 1 out as Vogelbach goes down swinging again in this game. That's his 3rd of the day, but then O'Neal Cruz draws a walk, so the bases are juiced for the Pittsburgh Pirates, brings up Smith and Jigba. He goes down swinging, so now it's 2 down, and Ross Detweiler has a chance to get out of it, and he does. Gets Harold Castro to ground out to shortstop, and that is the end of the inning. Detweiler somehow gets out of it, and once again, bases loaded are escaped. We move things on to the 9th. Lucas Sims gets a line drive right over to India, and that is the ball game as the Cincinnati Reds somehow shut out the Pittsburgh Pirates here at home, despite giving up a ton of base runners, and Hunter Greene gets himself a win here over a division foe. He gets player of the game honors. He went 5 innings strong, struck out 6 batters, did walk 4 batters though, but somehow gave up 0 earned runs on the day. Jose Barrero had a 3-run blast in the 2nd inning, and they just did not look back from there. That was enough to get them over. They had the sac fly for McKeno as well, and that was what your final was, 4-0. You also had Nolan Jones, who was on the day for going 2 for 3 with a double, scored a run himself, also walked. And then you also had Brian Reynolds on the opposing side, 3 for 4 on the day with, he actually had 2 doubles. 3 for 4 with 2 doubles, so they did not credit that second one as a double. I thought they did, but still, just a major pain in my side. And with that being said, that's going to wrap things up here for this edition of the Cincinnati Reds franchise here on MLB The Show 22. I've been your host, Jerseyborn, and I am saying, if you are a professional sports team and you do whiteouts and 7 Nation Army chants, you are not a legitimate fan base.